We will just jump right on in. I'll meet you on our mat in this comfortable seated position. And from here, let's start grounding through the sits bones. Maybe if you cross your legs one way all the time, try crossing it the other way, putting the other foot in front. We'll reach that spine nice and tall. Letting the shoulders fall away from the ears. Start to become aware of your breath. Just noticing the inhale and the exhale. Maybe set an intention for today's practice. That could be something like just being present in the moment, or maybe listening to your body. Or it might be something like stretching out as much as you can or loosening up your joints at the beginning of the day. And with that intention in mind, let's inhale the arms up to the sky. We'll interlace the fingers. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. And we'll exhale, reach those hands out in front of you, walk them forward. And we'll bring those fingers over to the right side. Hopefully getting a stretch in the left side body. Let's walk those hands over to the left side. And back to center. Maybe stretch them out just an inch further. And we'll walk those hands back up to our tall torso. Let's rest the left hand on the mat. Inhale the right arm up to the left side of the head. And keeping the spine straight and tall, we'll gently drop the head over to the right, towards that shoulder. Walk the left hand just barely behind you, right hand comes just behind the ear, and we'll look down into the right armpit. Hopefully feeling that stretch in the back, left side of the neck. Release the right hand to the mat. Let's inhale the left hand up, over to the right side of the head. And exhale the head, dropping it to the left shoulder. On the next breath, walk the right hand just barely behind you, left hand just behind the ear, and look down into the left armpit. And release the left hand to the mat. From here, let's place our hands on the mat, swing the legs around into a tabletop position. We'll start with our cat-cow flow, just inhaling in cow, dropping the stomach. Exhaling in cat, arching the back. Tucking the tailbone, tucking the chin. Moving to your own breath. Just one breath per movement. As you inhale in cow, think of opening up the stomach. As you exhale in cat, think of squeezing all the air out. And just a few more breaths here. And then we'll come back to our neutral spine. Let's reach the right foot out behind us, toes on the mat, stretch through the heel towards the wall behind you. And release that knee to the mat. We'll stretch the left foot out, reaching through that heel. And release the left knee to the mat. Inhale the right arm up to the sky, opening up the chest. And exhale the right hand under the left arm. Walk that through to thread the needle. One more time, let's inhale the right arm up to the sky. And exhale the right hand through. And let's release that right hand back to the mat. Inhale the left arm up to the sky. Holding this for just a second. And exhale the left hand through the right, threading the needle. Inhale the left arm back up. And exhale, thread the needle. And let's release that left hand back to the mat. From here, let's rotate the right hand so the wrist is facing away, fingers are towards you. A little bit of a wrist stretch here. You'll get more of a stretch as you start to bring your weight back. So just find a comfortable balance. And flipping the hand over, fingers still facing towards you. We'll stretch the back of the wrist. And release if you need to, take a couple of wrist circles and release that right hand back to the mat. Let's rotate the left hand so fingers are towards you. Stretching the inside of the wrist. Flip the hand over, stretching the back of the wrist. And maybe take a couple little circles and release that hand back to the mat. On the next breath, we'll tuck the toes and lift the hips up into a downward facing dog. And feel free to have your knees bent at any time in downward facing dog. Also, you're welcome to walk out the feet, dropping one heel to the mat and then the other. On the next breath, let's reach the right foot up to the sky. Let's bend the right knee here. And if it feels okay, we'll open up the hip, dropping that right foot over to the left side. Let's come back to our three-legged dog with the straight leg and step that foot forward into a lunge. Doing this for just a second. Maybe finding the stretch in the left hip flexor. We'll release that left knee to the mat, untuck the toes. Inhale the arms and the torso up to a crescent pose. Exhale the hands back to the mat. We'll start to straighten the front leg, walk the hands back into a reverse lunge. Maybe lifting the toes up off the mat if that feels okay. Let's walk the hands back into our lunge. Hold this for just a second. And one more time, we'll walk the hands into our reverse lunge. Maybe walking them back a little bit further than you did before. And let's bring the hands forward. Maybe bringing both those arms to the inside of the leg into a lizard pose. And you're welcome to stay here on your hands, or if it feels okay, you can drop onto your elbows. You're welcome to keep that foot where it is or to walk it out a little bit further. You're welcome to drop out the knee. Kind of playing around with this pose a little bit, listening to your body, making sure you don't go too far, but also trying to find the most ideal stretch for you. And wherever you're at, let's bring those hands back up underneath the shoulders. We'll walk the right foot over to the left side, dropping the knee into a half pigeon. And maybe staying here with your hands on a mat, maybe dropping down to your elbows. For those of you who would like a quad stretch today, you'll want to place your right hand in the center of the mat and reach the left hand back to the left foot. Maybe playing around with different poses too. There's no need to stay in the same position the whole time. We'll be here for a second. And wherever you're at, let's bring those hands underneath our shoulders, back on the mat one more time. We'll tuck the toes and step back to a downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left foot up to the sky. You can stay here or you can bend the knee and drop the leg over to the right side, opening up the hip just a little bit. Let's bring that back to our straight-legged, three-legged dog. And step forward into a lunge. Holding this pose for just a minute. Next, we'll drop the right knee to the mat. Inhale, arms and the torso up to a crescent pose. And exhale the hands to the mat. We'll start to straighten the front leg, walking the hands back to a reverse lunge. And walk those hands forward, back into your low lunge. One more time into the reverse lunge. Maybe going just a little bit further than previously. And back to our forward lunge. Bringing that left hand to the inside of the left leg into a lizard pose. And finding that stretch, maybe playing around with it a little bit. Maybe dropping onto the elbows or letting the leg fall out. On the next breath, let's bring those hands back to the mat underneath the shoulders. And we'll walk the left foot over to the right side, dropping the knee into a half pigeon. Once again, maybe staying here with your hands on the mat, maybe dropping onto your elbows. Or if you're looking for the quad stretch, you'll place that left hand in the center of the mat and reach the right hand around to that right foot. On the next breath, let's bring those hands underneath the shoulders, back to the mat. Tuck the toes and step back to our downward facing dog. We'll spend just a second here, stretching out the back of the legs. And from here, we'll slowly straighten out into a plank. You're welcome to be on your toes or your knees here. And from here, lower all the way to the mat. Placing that left hand in front of us, parallel to the end of our mat. We'll reach the right hand back to the right foot and gently pull that foot in towards your body for the quad stretch. Another option here is if you have like a strap or a towel, you can use that by wrapping it around your foot and then pulling your foot closer towards you. On the next breath, keeping our hand holding on to that foot, let's inhale, reaching that leg out, lifting the chest. The leg is reaching like it's trying to escape here. And release that to the mat, letting go of the right foot. And rest your right cheek on the mat. From here, we'll keep our right hand in front of us, parallel to the edge of the mat. Start to reach the left hand back, reaching onto that left foot, and pulling it in towards your body for a quad stretch. On the next inhale, we'll start reaching that left foot back like it's trying to escape. Lifting up the torso. And release back to the mat. Rest your left cheek on the mat. If you'd like, you can continue with your left cheek on the mat, letting your body rest for a moment. Or if you want a little bit of a challenge, we'll reach both of the hands back, grabbing onto both feet. And on the next inhale, stretch those legs out, lift the torso into a full wheel. Hopefully getting a good pec stretch while we're here. And release, drop to the mat. Choose one cheek to rest on the mat. On the next breath, we'll bring both the hands underneath the shoulders, lifting up through our tabletop position. Swing those legs around and come to a seated position at the back of your mat. We'll start with our knees tented, and we're going to hug that right knee into the chest. And then we'll bring the right ankle to the left knee. Usually we do this laying down, but here in our seated position, you're welcome to drop that knee out as far as you need to. And you're also welcome to use your hands to prop up your torso as you start to stretch out and keep that chest tall and lifted. You'll see more of a stretch in the gluteus medius. Let's slowly start to drop the legs over to the left side so you can bring that left foot in just a little bit if you'd like. Maybe holding on to that right knee or maybe even hugging that into your chest. Mainly just keeping our torso tall here. And let's release that right foot back to its tented position. Hug the left knee into the chest. We'll bring that the left ankle to the right knee. Maybe you're reaching your spine tall with the help of your hands. We'll start to drop the legs over to the right side, maybe bringing that right foot in just a little bit. Tall torso here, and maybe hug that left knee into the chest. And let's release that left foot back to the mat. We're going to come through our easy seat position. Place your hands on the mat. We're going to lift up onto our knees and drop the hips into a child's pose. Reach those arms out in front of you, resting the forehead on the mat. You're welcome to keep your hands out in front of you, or if you'd like a little bit more of a passive child's pose, you can bring your hands back behind you on your sides, or to your sides, sorry. And while you're here, we'll be here for about 2 minutes. Maybe just remind yourself of your intention. And once you've reminded yourself of your intention, bring your awareness to your breath. And let all other thoughts go. Just letting your mind and your body be here in the present moment. On your next breath, bring your awareness back to your body. We'll start to bring those hands back to a kneeling position. You're either welcome to stay here in your kneeling position, or you can swing the legs around to an easy seat. When you get here, let's inhale those arms up to the sky. And exhale in the heart center. Thank you guys for practicing with me today. Namaste.